Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. This is Walt from VidFuse, and I am super excited to be on our interview today. All of our interviews up until this point have been with bona fide YouTube superstars, people with million subscribers and 2 million subscribers and 2 million views on a single video. And as we've talked to these guys, some of the figures that they've been bouncing around with us have been spectacular. I think we've heard 50,000 a month. I think we've heard 80,000 a month. I think we've even heard over 150,000 a month in some of our interviews. Now, the person that I'm interviewing with today is a good friend of mine and a marketing legend. Anybody that's online knows this person. And our background goes a way back. I've talked to him about increasing patrons at a restaurant, at a seafood restaurant that he was at. I've talked to him about many, many things. But recently, his marketing spotlight has turned specifically to YouTube because of the power of this medium. And excitingly today, what we're going to talk about is not only how to grow your channel, as we've heard from our other YouTube superstars, but how to monetize that channel. That means how to literally make cash money from building your tribe of subscribers and your following on YouTube. So it is a great pleasure of mine to introduce the marketing legend and my very good friend, Chris Bloor. Chris, hi mate, thanks very much for joining me.
G'day, mate. How you going? Well, it's how do I follow such a good interview?
Well,
it's great to be here. And what I'm going to do today, mate, is I'm going to be talking from an edition of my Tube Marketing newsletter.
Let's make that available. Let's make that available to the people. So, guys, I'll include a link. Yeah.
You will get this as a download. And what we're going to look at today, I don't know that we're going to cover all the points because I think it would take about an hour and a half and we've only got about 30 minutes. But what I'm going to do, if you are looking at YouTube, the number one thing I'm going to say is I wouldn't go near AdSense with the 10-foot pole because it's a paper chase for idiots, in my opinion. So, having said that...
Just pause for a second, Chris, because just for the people who are watching, AdSense is Google's own revenue stream. So whenever you search for something in Google, all of those paid and sponsored ads are the ones that pop up, and that's AdSense. Mm-hmm. And the follow-on from that with YouTube is the advertising or the revenue generated from having millions of views on your videos via Google's own AdSense channel. We've heard from the other interviews that we've done that is the smallest drop in the bucket in terms of revenue. So what you're saying, mate, is that genuinely is the faraway version.
A few years ago, I had some software called Instant Niche Portals, and I did about 270 grand US in 10 months on AdSense. So I'm not against AdSense. I just know that it's not what you need to be doing if you've got a YouTube channel. Here's why. Why would you go to the trouble and the effort to bring people to your channel only to immediately send them away to a competitor? That is like shooting yourself in the head or the foot. What I'm going to do today, folks, in regards to YouTube, I'm going to give you some ideas that are going to help you to persuade like a pro, network like a ninja, strategize like a military general, and leave your competition crying like a baby for its rattle. So let's get into it.
Right.
First of all, why YouTube? Well, it's probably the most effective way to make serious money that I've seen in my 18 years online. It will be 19 years this December that I've been full-time online. In that time, I've been responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. I've done everything from selling books to high-ticket courses to being on the speaker circuit to having membership websites. And I've seen nothing that levels the playing field for people like YouTube. Even if you are an absolute newbie, my lovely lady here in Thailand started about a year ago, little over probably a year and a half ago, with no marketing experience at all, never done a video in her life before, and she has seen over 3,200,000, 100% free, 100% organic, 100% targeted views. And Walt, you know, because you've seen some of my channels, we are dominating. And when I say dominating, I mean if you go into the right-hand link of related videos. They show 15 related videos. 10 or 12 of them are often mine in a very highly competitive niche.
Now,
so let's look at how
I've done some amazing coaching with you, and what I'd like to just butt in. I'm sorry to cut you mid-flow there,
no
but
worries,
you know,
mate.
starting from a year ago and building up over 3 million views is just incredible. We've talked. So Chris has me as a client, by the way. I engage Chris to help me with my YouTube marketing. So we talked a couple of sessions ago about how to structure your channel, how to do all the descriptions, all that kind of stuff. And I know that you have that as a paid training that you do for people. And so can I ask you a favor? We're going to give this newsletter to people. Can we make sure that there's a link that they can work with you to get more information about?
Thank you.
Let's make sure that they can get more information about how to build those views. Because what Chris is about to talk about, and what I've asked him to come on and speak about, is monetizing those 3 million views. But for anybody that's watching this going, geez, how do I get started? I really want you guys to be able to reach out to Chris as well, so that you can follow those same steps to achieve the same results he's achieved, not only for his clients, but his wife, for myself, and for other people who are looking to grow a YouTube following. So that's all in the paper. But mate, I want to carry on and monetize these 3 million views, or we'll talk about ways of doing it.
Can I just add that with my channel, just one of my channels, guys, I have a lot of channels now, but just with one other channel started at the same time, we've actually seen over 4.3 million views in a little over a year and a half. All free, all completely organic, all laser targeted, and we're never going to have to pay for advertising again. That is an amazing thing. And you know, the stuff that I'm sharing with my coaching clients works in any niche. I showed you, for instance, a video on real estate. A guy said to me, it'd never work on real estate, mate. And I proved him wrong by getting about 160,000 views in 10 months on an ad on a video for real estate. And just this blows people away because it's so simple. And I want to emphasize, I am not some techie, geeky nerd. I'm a bit of a technophobe, okay? That's why I like a printed newsletter and this kind of stuff. You don't need to be a technical, geeky type of person. Anybody can do this. What I'm about to share with you, if you're an absolute rank beginner and you can speak from your heart, that's the most important thing. That which comes from the heart touches the heart. You can do these things. So let's have a look. Number one is to take your YouTube channel to $5,000 a month or more, is to start a Patreon channel. Now, Patreon is an amazing platform. It gives you everything. You don't need an autoresponder because they provide it. You don't need a shopping cart because they provide it. You don't need hosting because they provide it. You don't need to worry about WordPress and some plugins breaking your blog because they provide it. You don't need to worry about membership levels and membership software because they provide it. It's 100% free, and all you will pay is 5% when they send you your money like clockwork every single month. And I think just yesterday, Walt, I logged into a new Patreon account and I was like a dog with two tails because, you know, I'd been a bit crook, a bit unwell the last week. And I logged in and thought, by crikey, there's all of these sales over and over and over and over again. And it's an amazing feeling to do that. Now, one tip with Patreon is you can get by with micro continuity. You can charge people $10 a month, and at that level, they virtually never unsubscribe. Now, as you saw yesterday, we have a $5 level, a $10 level, and a $97 level. I was very happy to see several sales at the $97 level, but the reality is the more that you charge people, the less amount of time they'll stay with you.
Yep.
But I also showed you one lady who, for whatever reason, she stopped doing videos a year ago, and she's still getting over $3,000 a month on her Patreon level, on her Patreon channel because of micro continuity.
So I think, mate, what we should do is run a separate training course for how to build content on Patreon. We'll do that. But so number one, in our limited time, we've got the 5 ways to build your channel to 5,000 a month, and number 1 is Patreon. So just to interject, Patreon is built for the content creators to monetize their content, and what that means is that you can produce content that other people will happily pay you for. So for example, we talk about using YouTube to get that massive exposure and then flowing those people through into a Patreon environment. So we literally have our Patreon links on the videos. We can talk about that, and I know you talk about that in the newsletter as well. And then Patreon becomes the membership platform. So we use YouTube to be viral, to get the following, and then we use YouTube to funnel people through into that Patreon environment. So now, and again, we'll run separate training on this, but we talk about the different levels within Patreon. So let me give you an example, and just correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but let's say, for example, that your niche, your specialty is cooking. So on YouTube, you could do something like how to use this amazing spice in this particular dish and achieve a great flavor. So that could be your YouTube video. And on that video, you say something like, if you'd like to join our Patreon channel, we'll give you this recipe, and we'll also walk you step by step with a series of videos of how to prepare the dish in full. So you use YouTube as the teaser, and then you use Patreon to deliver that content, and you have people paying on a monthly basis, and you're giving them
here's the thing on that. Whatever you are passionate about, if there is a market for it. Now, let's say your market is, or you're passionate about 3-legged pygmy albino hamsters from outer Mongolia.
Who isn't?
There's only going to be you and your 3 imaginary friends on your channel, right?
Exactly.
But if you're passionate about a niche, you can go and make money with Patreon. Very quickly, here's why I like Patreon. Number 1, it's free. Number 2, it's got crazy low fees, only 5%, and you get everything. Number 3, it is very easy to use. If you can type an email, you can create a channel with that. Number 4, you get paid monthly. Number 5, it's very easy to get paid. Number 6, it simply works. Number 7, as you've alluded to, it's perfect for YouTube. And number 8, the simple math of getting 1,000 people in your niche, giving you $9.97 a month. It's so easy. I looked at a new video this morning, Walt, and it's been up a couple of weeks, and it's had 20,000 views.
Fantastic.
And this month, it's just gone crazy. My views on one of my channels have gone through the roof. And you can see, folks, that getting a couple of hundred people to go and join something when you can do videos that can get you 20,000 views, or some of ours are 250,000. One of them is nearly 800,000 views in less than a year. It's easy to send those people to anywhere. Now, here's why. Every day that they see you on YouTube, they get to know you, they get to like you, they get to trust you. Here's why YouTube works as well. Number 1, the kinesthetic people can see you, like I'm looking at you now. The auditory learners, who are 40% of the population, they can hear you. And if you give people a download in your video, the tactile learners can print it out, and they can sit and read it with a cup of tea or coffee.
Perfect.
And there is nothing that I know of like YouTube to enable you to do that. So number 1 then is Patreon.
I love it. I think that's a fantastic starting point. So number 2.
Number 2 is paid consultations. Now, I showed you a form that I use. And I honestly have never seen anybody else on the internet, apart from my clients, using the form this way. I want to talk to those of you that are selling high-ticket products and services, and I want to plant a little seed in your mind. Imagine if I could show you a new way of putting a form together that, number 1, completely eliminates tire kickers. You never get tire kickers ever again. Number 2, sends people to you who know what you charge and are willing to pay it. Number 3, hands you everything you need to know to look like a freaking genius when you first talk about them or talk with them. And finally, is free for your first 100 submissions a month. Those of us who do high-ticket consultation, we understand this. Now, in the last, say, week and a half, using this form method, I've sold about $18,000 plus worth of consultation. Direct result from YouTube.
Fantastic.
It is so easy. Offering paid consultations, things you'll need. You need a simple 60 to 90 minute consultation or a monthly coaching program. You need some bonuses to give to people. We need to think about marketing in terms of a pair of scales. What can you do to tip the scales in your favor? Number 3, you need some comprehensive notes for yourself and your students. As you can see today, I'm using my newsletter as notes. There's nothing wrong with referring to notes. It keeps you on track. Number 4, you need something like your webinar software or Skype, as you know many people use. And number 5, you need this particular form layout. And when you do that, you can literally every single day get your target market telling you everything that they need, telling you, this is how serious I am, this is when I want to start, and yes, I'm willing to pay your fee, okay? Perfect. And I can honestly put my hand on my heart and say I never deal with tire kickers. I see my buddies, my friends in the internet marketing realm frustrated all the time because they waste time with people who turn around and say, oh, I love your ideas, mate, but I've got no money.
Yep.
You never need to do that if you do your paid consultations the right way.
So, Chris, now, let me jump in. So, number 2 way of building your channel to over $5,000 a month is to use this form method to generate consulting clients. Now, I love this method. And again, what we talk about, the same as we talked about in step 1, is using YouTube as the leader, as the content initiator, so
and
that
the trust builder, the
trust
relationship builder.
So you're putting up content. Now, guys, please understand that the content you need to put up on YouTube needs to be the very best quality that you possibly can.
Yes,
because if you're putting up the best quality, you're naturally then engaging with the people who are interested. Now, what I love about this method, mate, what we're talking about is having amazing content, and then having, again, a feed, a funnel into this form style to sell consulting. And if we keep our same, I guess, engagement from the first one, our same example with cooking, we could say something along the lines of, here's the amazing recipes, etc., etc. Now, if you'd like personal one-on-one consulting on how to make a dinner for 4 people that will blow your neighbors away and make your whole street talk about you, I'm offering a one-on-one consulting class for $297. Here's a form if you'd like to apply, and they walk through. Now, mate, as you know, one of my passions is lead generation. I've come from a sales background. And typically when we talk about lead generation, we talk about outbound marketing. In other words, we're reaching out to people, we're doing advertising, we're doing mail outs, we're doing, all that kind of stuff to reach out to people in the hope that somebody then says, you picked me, right? But the beauty about this is you're literally having the world's best, hottest leads who are willing to pay what you're asking them. Come to us and say, sign me up. So rather than spend your whole week chasing the next appointment and the whole week doing 10 appointments to get one sale, you're literally dealing with people who have already told you what they want. They've already told you how serious they are. They've already filled in an application that says, please let me in. And they know your prices. They've come to you and said, please take my money. I love this.
And the secret sauce there is knowing how to word that form. Now, a couple of things about this. I showed you 2 things when we spoke. One, I showed you a guy who I'd done 5 videos with. He'd never done videos in his life before. He was very wooden in his presentation. He was very nervous. And I said to him, we need to get people giving you money for your consultation. He said, people won't pay. My market won't pay. Seeing as I was helping him, I was a little bit sneaky, and I put that he would give a 60-minute consultation for $147 US. Now, I told him it needed to be way more than that, but he chucked a wobbly, spat the dummy when he saw that I was asking people to give him money to begin with. And in 5 weeks, from 5 videos, we had 80 forms filled in. And remember, I showed you 75 people requested a paid consult. Now, and the other thing I showed you was the channel where after it was 12 days old, And folks, please listen to this, okay? Because people say you've got to wait a long time before you make money on YouTube. This channel was 12 days old. It had 25 subscribers, and I sold $7,000 US of consulting on that channel in the first 12 days with minuscule numbers. That's because YouTube sends you laser targeted prospects, and if people see you, they're going to make up their mind pretty quickly if they like you, if they want to listen to you.
Yep. Don't
be upset if not everybody out there in YouTube loves your content. Enough people will for you to make serious money. So let's look at method number 3.
1, 2. Now we're on to 3.
Which is coaching. And there are several types of coaching. There's business coaching, there's life coaching, there's dating, there's weight loss, there's health, fitness, relationship, marketing, public speaking, technology, self-confidence, self-esteem, language coaching, social media, mindset coaching, YouTube coaching, that's what I do, Facebook coaching, nutrition coaching. If you are a coach, let me tell you, YouTube is online nirvana for you. YouTube will hand you laser-targeted clients on a stick. You can get more clients than a scruffy dog has fleas. And what do we see most coaches do? They end up banging their head against a wall, trying that outbound marketing stuff.
Absolutely.
All you need to do is get on YouTube and be you. You're enough. You don't need to be anything you're not. I hate it, Walt, when people say fake it till you make it. Because even a dog knows if you don't like it, folks. You don't need to fake it.
That's it.
Just be you, okay? And you can have a constant stream of laser-targeted, well-qualified people saying, hey, can I be in your coaching program, please?
Absolutely.
And again,
we use YouTube to engage. We use YouTube to demonstrate. And if we think about YouTube as a medium, I'm sure everybody that's watching this, it's picked up VidFuse and a way of being able to get their videos up onto YouTube quickly. They've watched some of the other interviews perhaps. They know that YouTube is the medium because if you look at, for example, TV viewership is massively declining, and in fact the TV networks are scrambling to try and keep up, and subscription-based services like Netflix taking over, where you can pick and choose what you want to watch at a particular time. And that's the reason why YouTube is the medium. I know from my kids, and not only my kids but the parents that I speak to, who even if you're in our generation, Chris, you'll go, we say something like, I can't believe it. The kids are just watching so much YouTube these days.
Yeah.
Right? Because the reason being, and think about that, that's where the money's going. The reason being is you get to choose the content. You get to say, I want to learn about fixing my BMX bike. I want to learn to do that skateboarding trick. I want to learn how to cook. I want to learn how to do that dating thing. I want to learn how to emigrate to a different country. And they can choose what they want. Now, when we're talking about method number 3 for monetizing your YouTube channel, we're talking about coaching. So it's a little bit different than number 2. Number 2 is that consultation, which is a one-off, right? So we started with Patreon, delivering content to paid customers. Then we talked about the one-off, the consultation. If you'd like to pay me X amount of dollars, I will consult with you for 60 minutes on this particular topic. Now what we're talking about is a regular coaching program. And again, you use YouTube to be the very best you that you can be, so that somebody watching you says, hey, this guy, this person knows more about skateboarding than anybody else I've ever met in my life. Click my button and let me be part of their coaching group. Because they have chosen to watch you, and you are demonstrating how good you are. They are then willing to be with you on that coaching program.
Exactly. Now, number 4 is one that I love, and it's newsletters.
Perfect.
Okay, I publish a thing called Tube Marketing Newsletter, and I charge people about $119 a year. And in January, I just said to my Facebook people, I'm thinking of doing a paid newsletter. How much should I charge? And people were coming out with $97 a month, $67 a month. And a friend of mine, Stephen Clark, who ran Saatchi & Saatchi, one of the best advertising agencies on the planet, said to me, Chris, give it to people for $9.97 a month. if they pay yearly. And folks, I did $8,500 from a couple of Facebook posts, just saying to people, I'm looking at showing people this YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what your niche is.
How beautiful.
Okay? If they're interested in it, I publish a 12-page newsletter. And one of my goals for this is to go and get a few thousand subscribers. And it's very, very easy, because what you can do, you can say, look, I go into this in much more detail in my newsletter. The link is in the description below. And folk will sign up for your newsletter. So you're getting them on YouTube. You're building the know, like, and trust factor with them. The next thing is, whether it's knife making, or whether it's martial arts, or whether it's breeding miniature Schnitzer dogs, they will sign up for a newsletter, because most of these things don't have paid newsletters.
Perfect.
Okay? So it's a very easy thing to do. Google is our friend there. It's really easy for us to go and to find great content to put into our newsletter. And you know what I love? It's about maybe 2 or 3 days work a month to create a good newsletter.
Absolutely.
Can you turn the air conditioning up, please? Sorry, guys, I'm here in Thailand. It is hot, so just get the aircon.
While Chris is sorting out his temperature there, guys, as we're talking, and we're just about to the end of our time, but as we're talking, look at the different methods that we're mentioning here, and think about how you can layer them together. So our goal, you know, Chris, one of the things that we talk about a lot is the factor of being able to multiply your time, right? So if you can do something once, you can do it twice, and what that proves to me is if you can do it twice, you can do 4. If you can do 4, you can do 8. If you can do 8, you can do 16. If we can build your YouTube channel up, if we can build your YouTube channel up to 100 a month, then you can do 200 easy, because you just do the same thing again. If you can do 200, you can do 400. If you can do 400, you can do 800. If you can do 800, and on it goes. If you can do $10, you can do 20, and you can kick the whole process off.
Yes, that's exactly it.
We talk about layering these different techniques, and I know you've got a stack more, and I'll make sure that we've got that link to your newsletter. Chris has got all of the ways of monetizing your channel in the newsletter. The link is underneath this video. So we've got Patreon. Beautiful. It's a content marketer's dream. And you can have the different things in your Patreon channel as well. You can offer a consultation for a one-off fee, and you can have that as part of that channel. You can have a coaching level in the Patreon channel itself. So you can literally have the $9 content subscription. You can offer the one-off, and you can have the $97 a month coaching at a different level. And then we get to the newsletter. So you can literally have the newsletter as an additional layer on top of what you've already got.
It's like an ever-increasing circle.
Correct.
So there are always going to be people that will want more. They'll join your Patreon. They'll buy your newsletter. They'll have an initial consultation, and then they think, man, this is great. How do I get involved with your coaching? And then you can have inner circles, which we can talk about later. But let's
we've got time for one more, mate. We've got time for one more. So I know some of our other people, like our YouTube superstars that we've interviewed, have talked about merchandise, hats, caps, all that kind of stuff. But I know that you've got one more special one to talk about. And again, guys, Chris is the expert in building channels and monetizing the channels. Make sure you click on the link and grab his newsletter, and we'll do lots more training with Chris as we move forward. But Chris, we've got time for one more, mate. What's your number 5 way of building your YouTube channel?
One more, and I'd like to throw in a bonus on the very end, and that is product reviews.
Beautiful.
Okay, I spoke with a guy a while back, and he did a product review on a Canon camera, and they got about 20,000 views, and then in the mail, this beautiful camera arrives, and he said, they're sending me stuff now. Wow. And then the competitors are sending them stuff. And he's selling cameras on Amazon like there's no tomorrow.
Wow.
And that's a great thing. One final thing I'd like to talk about. 2 final things. I have a Facebook group that teaches people this stuff. That's facebook.com/groups/shoot-money. But the final thing is this.
Money.
As you grow your YouTube channel, folks, have a vision for something bigger than just yourself, just your business. For us, our YouTube channel is supporting a children's home here in Thailand, where we are helping kids as young as 8 years old who would otherwise be the victims of and at risk, and some have been rescued from, the sex trafficking industry. And we're using our YouTube influence to help these children, to give them a secure future, to keep them safe, to feed them, to house them, and ultimately to buy the land that their home is on and to build them better accommodation. We've just done a website for that. It's called BethanyThailand.com. And I want to encourage every person listening to me, if you've enjoyed what I've shared today, just consider this as a favour to me, okay? When you start your YouTube channel, and as it starts to grow, and as you're in that wonderful position that you're building a financial corral around you and your loved ones that is bulletproof, you woke up in the morning, you check your email and you've made another $2,500 or $1,000 or $1,500 daily, make sure that you find some good cause, whether it's helping kids in need or helping animals. Make sure that you give back.
Perfect.
Because the satisfaction, folks, doesn't come from making the money. It comes from the good that you do with it.
Absolutely. And as they say on the airlines, you know, if you've ever taken a flight, and they talk about the oxygen mask coming down. And what they say is put your own mask on first before you help others. Now, Chris, as a parent, as my children are sitting next to me, my instinct says to me, no, put it on the kids first. Yeah. Save the kids. But here's the reality of that. If you help the kids and then you pass out because you've got no oxygen, they can't help you. But if you look after yourself first, you can take care of hundreds of people around you. Okay, I had a very good friend who said to me, the very best way to help the poor people is not to become one of them.
Yeah.
Right? And so Chris is talking about making sure that you build this with the view of being bigger than yourself. So let me really endorse that as well and say everything we've talked about with VidFuse. And we talked about building your channel. We talked about building your following and your content and making it easy to get up online, getting a tribe of followers. That is done to make sure that's your oxygen mask. And once that's in place, and my endorsement for Chris's message there, take that forward and make sure that the world's a better place when you leave it than when you came into it. All right?
Yes.
So Chris, thank you so much for joining me. I absolutely love chatting to you, as you know. I hope, guys, as you're watching this, that you get a lot out of it. I really appreciate your input.
Absolute pleasure. I just want to say, folks, none of this is hype, okay? It's not smoke and mirrors. It's not empty promises. I know so many people that are disappointed and heartbroken because they've tried so many things in the past. This really works.
Absolutely.
Even if you're a brand newbie, it'll work for you.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thanks, mate. It's been
take care, Chris,
pleasure.
and thanks everyone for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on our next interview. Cheers.
Good on you, mate.